Thank you so much for meeting with us today,
Great
first
to be
of
here.
all. Our first question comes from Luland Escabusa in Makati City in the Philippines. You were inspired by your trip to Bangalore, India and Shanghai, China to come up with The World is Flat. What moved you to write Hot, Flat, and Crowded?
I spent 2 years doing documentaries for the Discovery Channel on energy and environment. And it was really after those 2 years of traveling all over the world to produce those documentaries, but particularly in the United States, that I realized that something really big had happened, that we'd entered a new era, which I call in the book the energy climate era, and I really needed to try to document that in a book.
Did you find that there was any overlap with The World is Flat?
One of the central arguments of this book, what is the flat in Hot, Flat, and Crowded? Really, the flat is my just shorthand for the rise of middle classes all over the world. And it's these middle classes that are increasingly able to live like Americans with the same energy demands, the same consumption patterns. It's really the rise of these middle classes that is tipping us into a new era. Because if this many people are able to live like Americans, the energy and environment implications will be explosive. We're going to burn up, choke up, heat up, and smoke up this planet so much faster than even Al Gore predicts with this many Americans. And therefore, it is crucial that we, the designers of the model, take the lead in redesigning the model and make living like an American so much more sustainable and renewable.
Which technologies do you think will emerge as the primary drivers of renewable energy?
Well, obviously solar, wind, and solar thermal, using the sun to heat water in pipes to drive turbine engines. Those are the most obvious right now. But I'll tell you, Amanda, I've often asked this question. And you know what my favorite renewable fuel is? It's an ecosystem for innovation. That's really what we're missing today. So we've got 100,000 people out there trying 100,000 things in 100,000 garages. Who knows what will come out of that? So I'm less focused on wind, solar, hydro, solar thermal. I think they all have potential, and much more focused on creating that ecosystem, the standards, the regulations, the taxes and laws that will stimulate everyone to go into their garage and try something. Because coming up with a solution for renewable energy will be so beneficial, will be such a no-brainer, get-rich-quick opportunity that millions of people want to try it. That's what we need, and that's not what we have today.
Which presidential candidate do you think will help America compete in a globalized world?
Well, I was really hoping that this election would be between two Green candidates, because John McCain had really been a maverick within the Republican Party on climate change, among other issues. But I have to say I've been quite disappointed. John McCain missed all 8 votes in the Senate to support the tax credits and production incentives for wind and solar power. He has supported lifting the gasoline tax for the summer, which only would have increased driving, carbon emissions, and made us more addicted to oil. And lately, he's focused his whole energy program on the words drill, 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 rather than innovation around clean power. And so if you ask me today, where we stand today, I would have to say that Barack Obama clearly is more committed to focusing America, where I think we need to be focused right now, which is on innovating clean power technologies.
Do you think America will lose its scientific and technological edge in the next 10 years?
I don't think these kind of things happen in 10 years, but I think he's asking a very important question. It's one of the reasons I'm a radical pro-immigration advocate, because I believe that our ability to cream off the first-round intellectual draft choices from around the world and bring them to our country to start companies from Palo Alto to Route 28 in Boston, that remains one of our great competitive advantages. I think you combine that with our university system, which attracts some of the best graduate students around the world. I've advocated before, and I still believe we should pin a green card to any foreign student who comes here and gets a PhD. Bam, right on their diploma. And by the way, I don't care whether it's in Greek mythology, astrophysics, bioengineering, or computer science. You come here and get a PhD, I want you to stay.
What is the one thing you think that every person in the world needs to know about energy policy?
You know, there's a chapter in the book that begins with a quote from the former Saudi oil minister, Sheikh Ahmed Zaki Yamani, famous oil OPEC minister back in the 70s. And Yamani said to his OPEC colleagues one day, remember boys, the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones. It ended because people invented bronze tools, and then even more sophisticated tools. The oil age will not end because we run out of oil. It will end before then, I sure hope, because we invent alternatives to oil while there are billions of barrels of oil in the ground. The most important thing that you have to know about this issue is that our focus right now has to be to create the market conditions for people to go out and invent those alternatives to oil while oil is still in the ground. And that, I think, is our challenge, the challenge of the next administration. How to create the right price signals in the market, the right standards and regulations. I want everyone in their garage, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, to be working on alternatives because we create the market conditions for them to do that. I'm a big believer, you create those incentives, those conditions, we will find an answer. And the Stone Age will not end because we ran out of stones. The oil age will not end because we run out of oil. It'll end because people invent the alternatives.